I don't want to do that. Are you staring at me vlogging, Mom?
But like, y'all need to, like, some things don't need to be public. Hi guys, my name's Margot and welcome back to my channel. Today I figured we'd do something different, but not entirely different than what I usually do as far as sewing videos go on this channel. Because it's warm and sunny out in the middle of February in Los Angeles, my seasonal depression has very graciously decided to take a vacation. So I am working on sort of cleaning up and reorganizing the mess that my room has become. And part of that is a box for this video. So we're gonna get it done. And what's in this magic box is a bunch of, at this point, what could be considered vintage sewing supplies and some modern stuff too. But a lot of this is actually really cool vintage stuff that when I was home for the holidays, I was helping my mom clean out my grandma's sewing desk, which had just a bunch of supplies in it. And I was like, let me take some of this. Some of it's just cool. Some of it's actually like legitimately useful for me. But I figured I could show you some of the cool stuff I got, because some of it is like, again, like pretty vintage at this point, which I think is cool, as well as a little something I picked out of her cabinet that we can use for a little sewing project. So that will be the secondary half of this video, but I figured the first half I can flip this camera view around and show you some of the cool things that I got while I was home for the holidays. All right, I've sort of tried to organize this into categories. So first thing is closures, and some of these like have such cool packaging looks to them. Some of these my grandma Betty had like organized into little tackle boxes. These I love. They cost like 15 cents. I don't think you can buy anything for 15 cents anymore. They're actually brass, which they don't look brass, but like they say they're rust proof. I think that's pretty cool. Here's the same brand. She like would staple all of her snaps to keep them together. I don't really use snaps in sewing, but I like kept finding them and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll take some snaps. So now I have more snaps and than I could possibly ever need. Look, 20 cents. I wonder if there's like a copyright on some of these so I can see how old they actually are. I wonder if I can look up some of these like names of like these brands to see when they were things. Like you don't see like, you're not gonna see this in stores anymore. On the less interesting side, I just basically any elastic that was still stretchy in there, I took. This is mine now. Let's go over snips. I got 2 snips. These are pretty modern. These are older. These, I just liked how they like fit in the hand. Unfortunately, they are not sharp anymore, but there is a guy at International Wools and Silks that like offers scissor sharpening on Fridays, so I might go down one Friday and see if he can take this apart and sharpen the blades. I'm concerned you can sort of see, let me hold you closer to like the actual camera. There we go. There's like these cracks on here, so I'm not quite sure if these can be salvaged, but they're pretty cool. Also, put my hands under it so you can kind of see it. This is just a French curve. I have another French curve that like is a little bit bigger, but this also has like a couple different shapes and stuff, so I figured it would be good to have for my collection of rulers. You never have too many. I also got this, which has come in so handy for lacing myself into my corsets and stays. It is a bodkin. It is meant for threading. Basically it has this blunt tip and then this very large needle eye on the end, and I already get so much use out of this one. And then last but not least for usefuls is this point turner. Back onto cool, and this little thing are some short pins that have the metal ball tip on top, or the metal flat tip, so they're a little bit like a nail. These are ones you can iron over. And now on to our last category of magical things I found. Needles. I want to impress upon you, I took back from home maybe like a 1/10 of the sewing needles my grandmother owned. I don't think I've heard needles called sharps in a long time. 10 cents for a whole thing of these, made in England, which how often do you get that anymore? Like, here's some for embroidery, which I have been meaning to get into but have not yet. I just think stuff like this is so cool. I hope you guys also think this is as cool as I do, finding all of these like cool older, I think it's really cool to find these like old package stuff and just like, you know, it's like a look back in time that you don't really get that often. I got 2 packs of darners though, which I definitely didn't need, but I just really liked the packaging on these. That's funny, made to give every satisfaction. That's like, you don't get like sayings like that anymore. This is like a more modern version that has just like a whole like pack of everything you need in every size, and obviously she was doing something with this one at some point. So like they've been used, and you can see like this one's a little older and worn than like the rest. I just thought it was really interesting to like sort of like get to look through my grandma's old stuff and see sort of what she had and like how she used to like what sewing tools she used, because she was like actually a professional seamstress for her job. And look, she loved little flower stickers. Like, it's just cool to sort of get to look into like someone's life like that who was really close to me at one point. Lastly, of course, I said this earlier, she had some fabrics left in her cabinet. She had 2. She had a green gingham and this one, and there's actually enough of this fabric to make like a skirt out of. It's, I believe it's not a full 54-inch selvage to selvage, but I do think there's enough here to get a pleated skirt out of. My mom actually said she thought Betty had offered to make her a set of PJs out of. It's pretty sheer, like if I hold my hand under here you can see it. So I think if I make it a pleated skirt, I have like a knee-length petticoat I can wear under it. But I just thought it was really cute, and like I liked the idea of making something out of fabric that was from Betty's stash now that I'm into sewing. And so those were like the only 2 fabrics that were left, and this is the only one that there was really enough to make something I could wear out of. So I think this is cotton. It might be a polyester. I'm going to put this in the wash and continue my organizational spree here of my room. And once this is all washed and dried, we can make a little skirt out of it. Okay, so this is now washed and dried and ironed. This is selvage to selvage 45 inches, which is the perfect length for me for a maxi skirt. I have 3 yards, and I now have to sit and do some math to see if 3 yards pleats down approximately to my waist measurement. So each pleat takes up 3 times the amount of fabric that you need to reach a certain length, right? Because you have the underside, the middle, and the overside on top of each other. You basically have 3 front faces of fabric. I have plenty of fabric to do that, so basically what I'm gonna do, add a little bit of seam allowance on both sides, and then I'm just going to pleat down my fabric to my waist measurement. I'm gonna do pretty small pleats because I feel like they're prettier, and I think this fabric with its really dainty cornflowers is going to look better with petite pleats. So I'm going to set you guys down and start pleating down to my waist measurement. Anything I have left will go for the waistband. All right, this is 32 inches of pleats. I used almost all of my straight pins, thinking about what I can get done tonight, because that took me literally 2 hours. It is 7:30. I need to take a dinner break, but afterwards I am going to put a basting stitch across these pleats, as well as sew the hem up, get that done and out of the way before I iron in the pleats, just so the hem is as straight as possible. And then if I have the energy tonight, I will iron in the pleats. Not to date this video, but it is Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow, and I cannot finish this project tonight because I don't have a zipper that will work for this. Realized because I have organized all my zippers today, I know I don't have a zipper that works for this skirt. But there is no way in heck that I am going anywhere tomorrow in Los Angeles because the Super Bowl is here. I do have on that chair a couple projects that I can do some handwork on tomorrow while I am watching the big game with my roommate. Neither of us care, but it's like the thing to do, right? Good morning. Yes, I slept in this shirt. No, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about where we are at with the skirt. Basically, after I stopped filming last night, I ended up deciding to use this zipper that I already have that is this like lovely blue that sort of plays off the dark blue spots and the cornflowers. And I think it looks very nice. It is half basted, half hand stitched in. I mean, for real. Not sewing in a zipper by machine has removed so much stress from my life. Thank you, Sewsting. As you can see though, there's some gapping going on. So I think I need to take out a pleat or two in this somehow. So I'm gonna pull out the side of stitches that are just basted in and see how much I need to take this in. And once I have that figured out, I will basically just fold over whatever is extra, hand stitch in my little zip here, and then sew up the side seam and cut off whatever extra seam allowance I may or may not have here. So that is going to be this morning, because again, we're just not gonna finish this skirt because I picked out a zipper. So I don't need to go to Joann's to finish this project. So that's great news. And instead of cleaning my bathroom, I'm gonna spend my morning sewing. And maybe not what I was supposed to do with my morning, but whatever. I will check back in with you for the waistband once I somehow fix my waist measurement. I don't know how this happened. Okay. I'll be right back. So what actually happened with the circumference of the skirt is that while I was basting the pleats on my machine, the presser foot was actually pushing the pleats apart. So once I figured out that was actually the problem, I pulled out some of the basting stitches and restitched them so the pleats were the right size. I think if I were to do small pleats like this in the future, I might take the time to hand baste so the pleats would be more likely to stay the size that I wanted them to. I've always struggled with the right order of operations to install a waistband, and I usually have to refer to a YouTube video or old pattern instructions to get it right. But once I got my instructions correct, I settled in with my friends and watched the Super Bowl upset with them. Brought me back to my SEC days. All that being said and done and stitched in, kind of already saw this if you watched my last video, but here is a skirt made from fabric from my grandma's stash. speedy little wrap up because it is unseasonably cold outside, so it is too hot for the sweater inside. It was really special to make something out of fabric that was from my grandma's stash. When she passed, I wasn't really into sewing at the time. She had like a huge stash of fabric. We just ended up getting rid of it all, which is unfortunate because obviously now I'm sewing again. But to find this fabric and to make this project was very special, and I feel very pretty in this skirt. Stick around, subscribe if you found this video interesting. I have a handful of other really neat sewing videos that I think you might also like. I've got another video in the works right now that I hope to be able to share with you soon. So make sure to hit the bell so you know when I post that. Leave a comment below if there's any projects you'd like to see me do, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!